Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute. And today we have a special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself, special guest?
Hey, everyone. I'm Paula from Penscreations.
Oh, it's PSEN. All this time I've been saying Sen Creations.
It's whatever it is that people want to call me, as long as it's not rude.
I'm sorry.
No.
And tonight we did finish off the last of the Elijah Craig 120 proof. Now here's the problem. Mr. Magazine, the way he had said it, I thought it was the cherry flavored low proof stuff. So I went and took the shot and it was 120 proof. And let me tell you, that woke me right up. That was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, you don't need an energy drink now.
No, I do not. We're going to say hi to our people and then we're going to talk to the guest.
All right. Number one, awesome AJ, 13's in the house. How you doing? Awesome Antiquarian. Marvelous Mr. Hot Wheels is here. Lovely Linda. Popular Puddings. Marvelous
Putrid.
Michael.
There we go. Putrid.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Thank you for being a member, Michael.
Putrid's a nice word, I think. Awesome Adrian. How's it going?
Thank you for being a member.
Delightful Don.
Thank you for being a member.
Let's see what Linda got to say.
Okay, now Antique Booth is not good. Okay, so the brick and mortar is not doing well.
Jazzy Jeff. How's it going? Super C's.
Thank you for being a member.
Thank you for that. He called up and there was some comics stuff we were going through. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened with that, but it looks like some good stuff. It was a comic shop that went out of business. So very cool. Thank you. Super Schmidt, how's it going? Fun Flippin' Roo.
Thank you for being a member.
Brian's in the house.
And thank you for being a member. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a very short version of our regular show, and then we're going to talk to the guest. Let me start out over here. We always ask how sales are. So PSEN, how are your sales?
Seeing that I am not very consistent at having shows, when I do have them, which I do try to go on once a week, they're good for handmade. They're doing well for a handmade community show. And
is that the only place you sell eBay? Whatnot?
No, I actually, I also sell, I have my own website that I also sell. And then I do like local craft shows and markets and things like that are more local, where you can hands-on for some crafting stuff. It's, it's a little bit better to be hands-on. Taking a picture and having it out there is a little bit harder to sell. Can be done, but it's a little harder.
Would your website have a URL?
Sorry?
What's your website?
A URL?
I got it. No, I know. Yeah, it's psencreations.com. I try to keep it very easy and consistent. Cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, market across. Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Magazine? How are your sales?
All right, let's see. Amazon's been pretty good still. Can't argue with that. Website's good. DVD site's good. Whatnot's really good. Had a great record sale over the weekend. We did the 14 hours Saturday, 6 hours Sunday. So we made some nice money there. And as far as eBay goes, if eBay was hanging on to the top of a cliff and a wooden penny was hanging onto a top of a cliff, I would save the wooden penny or nickel. I meant to say wooden nickel. See, I want to blame it on the drink, but yeah, eBay is horrible the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on, but luckily I don't need eBay to survive anymore because I have Whatnot.
Wow.
And how about you?
Today has been a good day. Otherwise, it's just not been good at all. The other sites are all doing okay, but eBay is just, I don't know what's going on over at that site. It's not so good. Yep. I had 27 out of 58 promoted offers, 127 out of 307, 127 old, 278 last week, 169 a year ago, 138 2 years ago. So we're definitely getting the offers are there.
Yeah.
One item sold on million-dollar-peddlers over on eBay, one item on Vivs-Views on eBay, and 7 on Etsy. So have you ever thought about trying Etsy?
Etsy, wow. I think that'd be a good site for you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to sell actually wreaths on Etsy because I wasn't always a junk journaler. I think once you're into doing handmade things, you kind of spread the love across, or you get an obsession with something. But yeah, I definitely have done Etsy, and I just haven't. I don't know if their fees for me personally for junk journaling is worth it to do Etsy rather than do Whatnot and doing live markets and then having my own website. So cool. That's why I kind of strayed away from Etsy for my junk journaling sells.
Yeah, Etsy takes a while to learn. It definitely does. There's a certain stuff that sells on there, and it's taken me a while, but again, 7 items in a week, I'm happy with that over there.
Yeah,
for
that's great.
the
That's
items
really
that
good.
I have. Yep.
Cool. All right, we have popular periwinkles in the house. How's it going? August 21st. No one bidding for the no online. Okay, all right, could be. There's some signed stuff, graded signed comics,
wow.
like a whole couple boxes of them. Yeah, good stuff in there. Trending up. Well, that's a good thing.
That is a very good thing. Trending up.
Room.
My store is closed temporarily, so not selling right now. It does make it a little more difficult to sell when you're not offering anything for sale.
I love to crunch the numbers with you sometime as far as like if we get rid of our eBay and not that I'm going to fire the people listing and working on eBay, but actually put them on another site. I bet we make more profit, but that's just me. There you go. There it is.
Oh, there you are. Thank you, Don. Do appreciate that. And I know Don's mom is likes the junk journaling, so she's been checking your channel out as well, which is great. So very good things about it.
I totally appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
Party people in the house, Eric. Definitely.
Yeah, good stuff.
How about today has been poopty.
Yeah. All right. We don't hear that very often.
Looking forward to the warm weather. Yeah, absolutely. How about buys? You don't really buy too much then, do you?
I buy way too much.
Oh, you do?
Nice.
Okay.
Join the crowd.
Now, how do you, where do you buy from?
So I do have, so I live in Maryland, so there are some antique malls that I actually do hit. I am a bargain shopper though, when it comes to going to antique malls, because you have to look at it as, for example, I would go in, I would say, oh, there's a handkerchief, because I buy handkerchiefs because I use those in my junk journal. So vintage hankies, and somebody will have one for $1, and then somebody will have a box that will have like 30 handkerchiefs for $8. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer, right? Buy the box, don't buy the individual ones. But sometimes I kind of struggle with that common sense. But antique malls, I do hit Goodwill every now and then. Obviously, because of where I live, there's no flea markets right now. It's just too cold.
Right. Yeah, right.
But I do try to hit that. And then, of course, whatnot.
Right.
Whatnot. I'm all over whatnot.
Now you've purchased for me before, and hopefully you were happy with the things that you bought. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about you, Mr. Magazine? Have you been buying anything?
Most of the stuff I'm buying has been out of the state. You know, they got customers and people checking the website out and saying, hey, do you buy these DVD collection, magazine collection? And we're getting stuff shipped every day. So right now through the shop, nothing, but everything out of state's coming in, and we're still looking forward to that 450 banana crates in next month.
There you go. So, and PSCN is looking at it going, that's a lot of stuff.
That's like
now you work out of your house?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, me too. So it does put an upper limit, or allegedly puts an upper limit on the amount of stuff I can buy, in theory.
We have 2 extra rooms in the house, and let's just say that my stuff is everywhere, even outside of the 2 extra rooms.
Oh, Abstractory is here. Very good. Abstractory.
Oh, good. I was going to let you pronounce it, because I'm going to blame it on the alcohol. Is it Mom Abby?
Abstractory.
Well, okay. All right. There you go.
Yeah, I've been buying a few things. Went to a couple of estate sales. Did go to one. My Mrs. Paperboy was getting her nails done, so while she was doing that, I went over to an estate sale, and that's where I bought the book that we're going to be talking about in a little while, with the beautiful eagle inside that nobody cared about. So I ended up buying that over there. I spent I don't know what I spent there, $50 there. Went to 2 sales on Friday. One sale I spent $20. The other sale I spent $53. The nice thing there, though, was the estate sale dealer. I did ask. Well, they had books. They wanted $5 a book, which is on the high end for hardcover books, and $3, I think, for softcover books. And I said to her, because she does not have a lot of sales, I said, hey, there isn't anything I'm really interested in today. I said, but in the future, if you've got a good sale that I want to bulk buy from you, are you willing to sell that way? And she said, yes. She goes, we can do bulk buy on the books today. I go, no, because there are a lot of Hebrew language books, which would be hard for me to sell, I believe. So I wouldn't be interested. But the other side of that is, if she's starting at $5 a book, and it's the first day of the sale. What is her bulk buy versus my bulk buy? She might be thinking she's giving it away to me at $2 a book.
Right.
In my head, I'm thinking I can give you $1/4 a book because I don't want to pay anything close to the $5 that you have. But at least I kind of laid the groundwork, and I think that's kind of important. And then today I went to a buy, and we did a video about it. We'll be talking about it. Long story short, I filled the Rogue for $1,000, and I don't know what's in there.
We know one thing that's in there.
We know about 2 or 3 things that's in there. Basically, long story short, the guy had all the stuff in his garage in 20-degree weather with the door open, and I'm trying to sort through it, trying to see what's in there. And I'm just like, what do you want for everything? And we loaded the car up. We barely got everything to fit. I think I could have gotten one more postcard in if I really tried hard. If I bent it, I could have gotten one more postcard in. But I did, as I was going through, did see some things that I believe are good for junk journals, but we're going to find out a little later tonight whether they will be or not. So, but that was about all the buying that I was doing. Glitch of the week. Have you had any, how long have you been on Whatnot, PSCN?
Probably about 2 years.
Were you there in the good old days when it was Glitch Fest and crashing and all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So when I originally joined Whatnot, and I joined as a seller, as a buyer, like a lot of people did, at least a lot of the junk journaling people that in the crafting community that I know of, there wasn't as many glitches, there wasn't as many sellers, and there was a completely different shipping.
Like the dollar and all that stuff. Yep.
It was before the dollar even that I had joined. It was, and they had where it was 25 cents, and then 50 cents, and then jumped up to $1. And then
your guys are going highway robbery, $1.
I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to be able to buy so much. And then they flipped it. Not too long after, I started really, was introduced to it. They flipped it. But as far as glitches, I've had a few, but not anything that was major that would impact any of the shows that I was doing. But I've been on many shows where people have unfortunately struggled, and it's a shame, but but is that a struggle because of the glitches or for some other reason?
Wow, yeah, so thank you. I've also been there with the entire site.
These junk journals are really junk.
So
junk journal.
I've been fortunate, but I know that a lot of people have not on Whatnot, with having to deal with glitches.
Yeah, no, when the whole site goes down, that's the problem. Or when you can't, it's happened before where I couldn't get into my catalog. And it's hard to run a cataloged auction when you can't get in the catalog.
Yeah.
And on those, I've had to pull the plug about twice. I think I've had to pull the plug because of glitches, but it is a lot better than it used to be. Every once in a while you get a glitch day, but and again, it's like anything else. It's usually after they update stuff.
Right. It comes with that. Unfortunately, they can't test everything, and they can't test the volume the performance that, the app's going to have. So it's part of, technology.
Right. Well, and then you actually just raised another point there. From time to time when they have Kendrick Lamar or somebody like that doing, or somebody like that doing their show. Who was it? Post Malone, I think they had doing a show.
Oh,
the
really?
whole app, yeah. The whole app crashed because, 500,000 people go to his show.
Yeah. So I do have a question. Did Mr. Magazine, did you have an issue, or did your team have an issue on Sunday? Because Sunday was the day where they did free or no commission, or there's something.
Yeah,
you had more sellers on.
Sunday was the Super Bowl special, Saturday and Sunday, because we did a 14-hour one. Saturday, Sunday we were 8 till 2. Everything was good at that point.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Glitch of the week. Well, we had a number of them this week. eBay. This is a fun one over on eBay. When I was listening, they actually reverted the title back to the prior item. I 100% know that I changed it because I remember when I typed it, I mistyped something, and I go, oh, I got to correct that. And I corrected it. And so I'm going through my listing. I go, that was the last item I listed. I know that I changed it. And how do I know I changed it? Because the second time when I recorrected the title, I made the same typo. And I said, I remember making this typo. I 100% know that I did this. But that is scary, though, if eBay does that and puts the old listing. The only thing you can hope would be that it would get flagged as a duplicate listing.
Yeah, that's all you can hope. The same, it will, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, and then you'd be saying, what do you mean duplicate listing? But that would really, really confuse you. But that is a huge glitch. It only happened to me once that I'm aware of. But if you're out there listing on eBay, be careful of that because that can really screw you up because then your picture doesn't match.
Right. But then you can change it though before you relist into the store. So that'd be the good because it's a duplicate at that point.
Right. Yep. So that could be a bit of a problem over there. I had a big problem. Chrome kept crashing on me. It turns out it needed an update. I thought those were supposed to be automatic, but I guess not. Maybe I had something turned off. Who knows? You were shaking your head. Yep. You apparently had the same problem at some point there. eBay. Oh, this was a great one. Mr. Magazine sent me an email this morning. eBay was allegedly downloading money from him. He went to take his money out into an account at a bank he doesn't even have an account at.
Yeah, crazy.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
I said, keep your eyes on that because I did check. He right afterwards, he had a download to his regular bank. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was just some eBay big glitch or not, but that could be a real problem if your money's going elsewhere.
Wow. Look at that.
Somebody's got some money. Thank you, random neighborhood kid. Do appreciate that.
I think he's making up for the Dunkin' Donuts he stiffed us on at the airport.
That must be.
Yeah, felt guilty.
Another big problem over on Amazon, a bunch of my Life magazines cannot be shipped locally. Mr. Magazine, he's got his employee doing price checks on things. And every time my item comes up, it says it cannot be shipped to Mr. Magazine. Maybe I know he's a deadbeat buyer.
Deadbeat, yeah. Can't afford it.
Don't know what that is. And then I ordered the wrong size backers, which is a real pain in the butt when you need supplies and you order the wrong size and they come in, you go, this is the wrong size. Oh no, I messed up. That's always the absolute worst.
I bet you were supplies.
I did. I said supplies. We usually do an item of the week, and I want to show you this. I had an idea that this might be good for junk journaling. We shall see.
Oh.
So I paid.
I wish Vegas had a betting line on this.
$15 for this. And this is all I don't know how well you can see it. Probably not very well.
You're too close. Maybe back up.
The there we are. All right, yeah.
There you go.
So all Christmas tags and little stickers and all that for Christmas. And they're from the 1930s.
Ooh, very nice.
So
you can do two things there, right?
Okay.
You can try to sell it as a whole, but obviously you paid a certain amount, so you're going to want to get more than that amount, right? Or you can try to sell it by page.
Okay.
And then see potentially if, you can make more that way, right? And you'd get more offers potentially, I would think, by page, right? It's sometimes, I think with a lot of things is if you say, okay, well, I want $20 for something, that's too much. But if you break it down in $5,
right,
somebody's more willing to pay the $5 versus the 20, especially if they're going to use it for junk journaling, right?
So that would be the kind of thing that they would like, I guess, write on that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other things over here. So I took a chance on this. It was $4.32 plus tax over at Goodwill. And these are all stamps. The little stamp things over here. And they say on there, precious miracle of birth. And there's, there's one with an girl angel and Christmas and stuff like that. It says on there. Now, $4.32 for 6 or 7 stamps. Is that a good deal?
That's a good deal. Yep.
And
I personally don't, the baby ones and the birth ones and things like that it's a niche, right? There are some people that make baby books, what they call baby books. They're junk journals, but they're baby books. So those are the people that tend to gravitate towards those. And there's not very many of them in, there's plenty, but they might not be hitting whatnot so much as far as what I've seen, right? But other stamps, Christmas and things like that, people love it. And that's a good price for the quantity. They're bigger stamps as well. So that's definitely a good price.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I bought, which I didn't know whether this would be something because I know I took a chance on this. I think this is good to sell on eBay, but I wanted to run it by you as well. These are old watercolor paints. Ooh. With a really cool looking box, I thought. Yeah. And then you got the old watercolor paints inside. Now, is this something that people would like?
It is. And for two reasons, right? You'll have those that like the art journaling, right? So you have different forms of journaling, right?
Okay.
You have the art journaling that, again, you make using junk, what people call, or recycled materials, right? Yeah. And you art journal in it. So you paint, you do things to that extent. You have glue books too, Mr. Magazine. I'll go to you with the magazines. People cut out images of magazines and just glue them into books, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole other tower of junk journaling. But that's great because you have so many junk journals that also love that vintage aesthetic, that will love the box and will also probably use the paints as well in their junk journaling for different, mixed medias and multitudes of uses within the junk journal itself. So yeah, it's great. It's something that they would totally be interested in. People just buy boxes. Listen, people just buy boxes just because they look so cool. Oh, and sometimes even the box itself, people will use to make into a junk journal.
Oh, so
keep that in mind. If you find a really cool box that has that vintage aesthetic, or that's just a game box. I bought like a box of old Yahtzee cards, like the score cards. Things like that. People will use, obviously, if the Yahtzee cards are in it, they'll use that. And in addition to that, they'll use the box to actually make a junk journal as well.
Wow. So, all right, we're going to go a little off script right now. We're going to, my head is blowing, especially. We're going to go a little off script right now. When I think journal, I think a book with pages. Obviously, that's not what a journal necessarily has to be if they're using boxes.
No, it's still, we make the spine to make it a book.
Oh, wow.
So it's still a book with a cover, a front and a back and a spine, and it still has pages on the inside, but we use a multitude of things to make that cover, that spine, and that back, to make the cover of the book itself. So we don't only just use books, right? Actual books. Yeah. We use a multitude of things to make the book itself.
So when I have tried in the past, a little successfully, but not overly successfully, selling the actual, like an old postcard folder that is empty now. And that isn't necessarily what people want, because they would be making their own as opposed to wanting a pre-made one necessarily.
Sometimes you get people that will buy them already made, and then they just spruce it up, right, to whatever theme or aesthetic that they're looking to build their junk journals. You can use, I'm gonna, if I can grab it. Oh, so I bought this at the Goodwill probably 3-4 years ago. I paid $1.99 for it, and it's a little wallet, right? It's a little purse.
Okay.
I'm gonna use this to make a junk journal. Wow. I'm going to cut the seams, and then I have my cover right here. I'm going to fill it with pages. I have a closure already. Boom. We use anything and everything really to make junk journals. And then in the inside, we fill it with ephemera and papers and, whatever we think makes the most sense for, if you have a thing, magazines.
I have to do this, or else I'll just keep talking. I do have a couple of questions now that you piqued my interest with the magazine pages.
Yeah.
So number one, record album covers. Is that something?
So I've always wanted to try to make one using a record album cover. I have not seen somebody do that, but I don't see why somebody would not. I've made an AC/DC and a KISS junk journal that both have sold. Thankfully, people really enjoyed them. And I'm working on a Motley Crue one. So it's one of those things. And that's just because those are the fabrics actually I was able to find. That's why I'm using those. But I think it's a great idea, right? If you have something.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if we ever did whatnot in junk journal, what could I sell? And besides that, like the magazines, what magazines would be popular that people would want in what decade, I guess?
I'm going to guess fashion, if I could jump in. I'm going to guess fashion.
Absolutely. Fashion. People would love fashion. If people are doing, a lot of people do like railroad junk journals. So that would be another one that they would, anything garden. or nature related.
Circle. I was thinking like old family circle, stuff like that in the 70s.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like retro.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that would be great, right? The pictures of the retro refrigerators or the living room sets that, or even the images of the ladies, right? That you might find in those, magazines. People will fussy cut them out or just use them as whole pages, right? It just depends on what they're interested in doing with it.
So I'd sell the whole magazine. And what do you think it would sell for? A few bucks, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you can get, $3-4 for it, maybe even more. Just depending on, what really
branch out and whatnot. So I'm thinking of more ideas. That's stuff that I have that I put no value on that really have value.
Yeah. Year and month are really, like, I can say like anything Halloween, October, anything that has something like that, very popular. Sure. December, very popular as well. Okay. Those are really the two big ones. All the other ones, it's not that they're not popular, but those are really like the primary ones that people kind of.
Cool. All right. Good to know.
All right. We are going so far off script right now, which is great because that means we're having a good time over here learning. I bought from somebody over the summer. The person was an avid train spotter, and they would go and they took pictures. I must have thousands of pictures of trains, snapshots of trains. Would they be something or other that would go at a junk journal auction?
Yeah, I think there are people that are very much interested in train and travel. They make junk journals, and they would use that, cars, trains. Obviously, the more vintage stuff is more appealing than the more modern stuff. But I think that's definitely something that people be interested in. I think junk journaling, like anything else, right? You have to have your right clientele in that one show. Right. It might not be for everybody, but it's definitely something that people are interested in.
Cool.
All right. We're going to, we had no insulting offers of the week this week. You didn't send me any, and I didn't. You didn't have to have offers.
It's been a busy week, so it must not have been too bad. I didn't have any sales either, so maybe that was the issue.
Countdown to Brimfield, we had a bit of a setback just because of all the things I bought today.
Prepare yourself. Here it comes.
And time for the Confucius joke of the week. Everybody's favorite thing over here. I'm going to ask our guest and Mr. Magazine. You guys can put your heads together on this one over here. Confucius joke of the week. What are 6 animals common to the polar region? Dun, 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 dun.
I'm horrible at this.
Dun, dun, dun. Confucius say 6 polar bears. That was the Confucius joke of the week.
Wow. That's easy. I was looking too deep into that one.
Come on, that was
like, you're looking for 6 answers. 6 answers. Or?
So was I. I'm like penguins, polar bears. Oh my God, 2. Got 2.
Walrus.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Penguin and polar bear. That's it.
All right. A question for PSEN. I typically curate an auction with old paper, photos, Victorian trade cards. What other items might I be missing? I don't craft, so I curate based on intuition.
No, those are all. Those are the top ones that junk journalists really are interested in. Postcards are another one. Again, postcards that are more Victorian or scenic are the ones that people are interested in. Old papers are huge, right? If you just do, for example, if you get 2 old dictionaries and just slice it out into little bundles of 20 pages each, you're going to get more, and people are going to be more interested in that. Really quick, you mentioned something about the books and it being Hebrew. We love books that are of a foreign language.
Okay.
There you go.
Now, I will say sometimes it's a little scary because we don't know what they say.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But we love books that, or papers just in general that have foreign language writing, because that's great to add to our junk journals as well, or use them as backgrounds.
Now, when you say the old dictionary, what era would you be talking about in the dictionary?
So I have a 1930s one. I have a 1920s one actually that I have not touched because I can't bring myself to actually. But this is a 1960s one.
Yeah.
And I had 2 of these. It was 2 different. Actually, it was split up into 2 different volumes. Yeah. And I use this in every. So the coloring of the pages is what really we care about. So this one's a little whiter. The other one that I have from the 1930s, which was falling apart already anyways, is a little bit bit darker, right? It's a little bit aged. The pages are more aged.
And now what do you do with the pages from that? Do you like cut the words out, or?
I personally put them in. So everybody does something different. I personally put them in. I'm going to see if I have one in this one. So this is one of my 1930s one, and I just put it in here, and then I decoupaged a piece of a napkin. So it's just in there as a page. Oh. And then on this side, this is a sewing journal. So that's a sewing pattern. That's on the other side of it. So it's there where you can still see the dictionary page behind it, but it have a layer of something added to it. So I just add it to it as a page.
What about old encyclopedias? Would it be the same deal?
Yeah. And the encyclopedia pictures.
Wow.
That's something that would be cool too, right?
Company value just went up 10%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like I said, though, it's harder to sell the whole thing to someone than to break it out. But I understand breaking out also is time and money to the people that you're, paying to break it out and build the bundles. But I think in the long run, you can test it out to see, is it worth, are you getting more, right, by breaking it out? Because then you're able to sell them in smaller
here's the whole thing too, though, would be right now, until we just spoke right now, I go to an estate sale and they've got a 1920s dictionary, which they often do, and it's falling apart. I walk by it. If it's already falling apart, it doesn't take much to break it apart. Now you got the nice one with the good spine and all that. That takes a lot of work. But if it's already falling apart anyway, it's got pages missing, whatever, it had no value until we just talked. It had no value to me till 1 minute ago.
Yeah.
Now it has value to me.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff, obviously, right? You have wrapping paper, vintage wrapping paper. We love that. Wallpaper. Hello. Vintage wallpaper. Yeah. Yes. Mr. Magazine.
So that one you showed us from the 30s, the one you just held up there, what would that 60s? Sell for? Yeah, what would that sell for? The one that the journal.
Oh. This one?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice cover.
Yeah.
This one, so this is it's a vintage sewing pattern packet. So if you come across those, that's another thing that we're interested in.
One thing to ask you about later.
Yeah. So this one I would sell for $30.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Okay.
So now there are some people that sell them for a lot more. And it just depends on what you're putting in, how much time you're putting in, and really it depends on the individual, I guess, the business itself, right? Yeah.
You do requests. So if I wanted Star Wars or something, you could make me a Star Wars one or whatever like that. Or my wife might want one with money because she loves money.
Who doesn't?
We're going to head real quick into customer issues. Mr. Magazine put up an Apple Watch. He got a phishing email through eBay, believe it or not. So it was through the eBay messages. They actually sent a link for him to go on to, and it was a phishing message right through eBay. Hopefully that took that down.
Crazy.
I have a problem. I shipped something. It shows delivered. It shows delivered to Florida when they live in Vermont.
I get that sometimes. They get so mad. I'm like, just give it time. If it's delivered, then it's a different story.
It did say delivered.
Oh, it did? Oh,
it did say delivered to a drop box in Florida. Jeez. So I don't know what's going to happen on that. Crazy. Maybe because we're here with the junk journal situation here. Somebody emailed me, Time Magazine, November 7th, 1977. Dear seller, please let me know if there are any stickers on front cover and back cover pages of the magazine. Thank you. And I was so confused. I'm going, and I said, maybe they mean a mailing label. That's all that I could think of. But that raised the question, how do stickers sell? Do they sell well? Do people use stickers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Stickers are big. I'm a sticker lover. You have some people that don't care for stickers, but you have a lot of stickers. Yeah. They sell, I think, really well.
Flippin' Roo asks, can you make an album without knowing how to sew?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty of ways that, again, we are extremely creative. You can find glues that are very strong. You can also use, I've done this before where if I wanted a cover to have fabric on it, I've used carpenter's tape. So if you all know, carpenter's tape is sticky on both sides.
Oh,
so
yeah.
will never come apart. It's one of those things where, so yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do it.
Wow.
Oh, and I think Abby mentioned that you can do the ring bound ones too, right? So you can just do the little rings as well and do the ring bound ones so that you don't have to do the sewing in of the papers as well. So that's another method for sure.
Mr. Mag, I don't know if you're familiar with what CGC, or PSA, any of those, the grading that goes on in the comic world and the sports card world and all that. They get encapsulated.
I have three brothers.
Yeah. So Mr. Magazine had a guy asking him about the contents. Can you tell me what is on this page in this graded comic? Like, yeah, let me take a sledgehammer to it, open it up, and then I'll tell you what's in it. No, I can't. Do you understand what an encapsulated means? Mr. Magazine actually had a letter that I wanted to take a moment here to read. A resounding thank you. I have had the distinct pleasure of dealing with you through Amazon and shipments of Life magazines. Every time I receive a shipment from you, I write back to Amazon through your seller feedback. I always tell them the same. Mr. Magazine deserves 100 stars on his overall rating. The manner and care he takes in preparing his product for shipment is second to none. He always ships on either the same day or the very next day. I receive my order within 3 days USPS. It arrives in excellent condition. The quality of the product he ships to me is always top shelf. That's why I take the opportunity each and every time to remind Amazon what a fine and reliable seller they have in Mr. Magazine. He and his products are, in fact, the very best. Very nice. We like to hear things like that. As they say, somebody has a negative experience, they tell 10 people. Right. It's good to get somebody or other that actually took the time to send and sign that over and send it over to Mr. Magazine. So that was a really good,
especially with Amazon. Most people don't give positives, but they definitely will give you a negative. So it's not really an accurate rating.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Martellus Bennett sold his Super Bowl ring for $88,000. So if you want to walk around like Bill Belichick, with lots of rings on your fingers with your girlfriend that's 50 years younger than you, well, you can start buying them right now. Hold on. What is that?
Which one was it, that one?
What are the do's and don'ts of selling damaged postcards as junk journaling lot?
There is no don'ts. We will definitely use them.
Very good.
Whether it be, as just a postcard to, enter into the journal as ephemera itself, where somebody can use the back to do their own journaling. Or if the image is salvageable, we'll cut the image out and use that in the junk journal in some way, shape, or form as well.
And hello, Paul Carl Cards is going to be our guest in 2 weeks.
We are among genius. He is a genius. And by the way, I scared my employees the other day. We had a meeting, Paul, and I told them I have someone coming from WHE to shadow them all day long. And they said, what is that? I go, warehouse efficiency.
There you go.
So they're a little nervous.
And what is the next thing I was just going to say? Paul Carl came in right on cue. There's Marcellus Bennett. Yeah, February 28th, Paul Carl, mid-March.
We're going to have a genius.
He knew exactly when to walk in. And he hit his mark. Perfect job, Paul. We have Chet from Rhino Comics coming up soon. Consignment Chats is coming up end of March, and we actually were on Consignment Chats show. It'll be airing next Tuesday. Definitely do check that out if you haven't already. They're very, very interested in checking out your channel as well, PSCN. They've got their own channel, Consignment Chats, and a lot of the people over there are into the junk journal as well. And so they think that it's going to be absolutely wonderful. So I can give you their information afterwards as well. I think they would love to have you on. They were super excited about hearing about you being over here as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Jen Doe's had a good question.
Would junk journalists be more likely to buy a whole book magazine or pages from multiple sources? That's a good question. Or pages of multiple sources. What would be a common amount at the latter? That's actually a really good question.
So I'd say, from my experience, multiple pages in a bundle. 20 pages could sell for $5 to $7 or more, right? It just depends on what those pages are, how large they are, maybe what images are on them. But I would say that they're more likely to purchase multiple pages in a bundle versus an entire book.
Well, I think the other question too that John's asking there is, I've got, and I'm just going to throw it out there, Family Circle magazine. Yeah. Am I better off selling a bundle with 4 pages from the February issue, 4 pages from the March issue, 4 pages from the April issue all together, or 20 pages from the February issue?
So magazines are interesting because magazines are obviously smaller, right? So people are more apt to buy the magazine in as a whole versus it being split up. Whereas books, they're more apt to buy, pages from different books that are sourced into like a bundle for them, or a packet, what we call a packet, like a paper packet, right? A paper packet.
I'm going to write that down because I guess the order is going to be showing up on my future auction. Okay.
I hope that answered the question.
No, I think it does. Yeah. No, that was a very good question I never would have thought of. And again, that's why I love having you on here and would love to have you on in the future as well, because old ledgers, receipts, bingo cards, playing cards with cool pictures in the back, napkins.
Bingo Bingo cards. Yeah. Bingo cards. Love them. Any color of them. People love the bingo cards. They use them as ephemera. They use them as making journaling cards. They use them to make tags. The bingo cards are big as well. Playing cards, huge. I mean, you have your playing card collectors that they don't only use them in their junk journals, but they actually collect them, right? So if you have 7 different sets, right, of playing cards, you can do 7 for $3, and you get 1 playing card from each set. And people, it's stuff like, and when I say 7, I'm just throwing out numbers. Some people have done like where it's 5 and you pay, people pay $3, $4, $5 for 5 playing cards. But if they have a unique image or just a cool image, a dog, a cat, it just depends on what it is. People love them.
Good stuff.
Well, that was something that I will start bringing to the future ones. It was over the summer. A guy sold me 2 scrapbooks filled with playing cards. I must have picked up 400, 500 playing cards.
Old ones in there too. Really
1930s to 50s, $15 for the 300 to 400 playing cards. I said, I think I can make some money on that. Of course, they're all sitting in a pile right now. I think I brought them to like one junk journal, and then I forgot about them. It's basically what ended up happening.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think my over-under would have been asking questions? You would have taken under and lost, I think.
I would have, definitely. I would have said you asked like one question, like, how are you would have been the only question I thought you would have asked, and that would have been it. I did, forgot this over here in the customer area. So I listed something, a Hotel Emio Maria Tahiti brochure, 1960s Cook's Bay. Person asked, is there a date printed on the brochure? Which made me laugh, because if there were a date printed on the brochure, wouldn't I have put it in instead of putting 1960s?
Not for my employees.
Oh, all right. Maybe you thought I hired your people. Kobe Bryant, torn Achilles sneakers, went for $660,000 for his shoes. We're all in the wrong business, my friends. We need to be selling old shoes.
Yeah.
We're going to head on into the main part now, the interview part, even though we've kind of gone off a little bit. Did you, I did mention this at the Junk Journal Jamboree, and I don't know if you saw it or not. I get a feed from CNN in my daily news, and they actually on 2/8, so whenever the 8th was, journaling with junk. They actually in their daily feed mentioned junk journaling.
Wow.
Were you aware of that?
Was that tied to something related to a Martha Stewart article? I did hear something that happened in February, I thought, but maybe it was something different.
Journaling with junk. Bits and bobs we hold on to for sentimental value, like old ticket stubs or photo booth snapshots or birthday cards from years past, usually don't have a place to go other than under a fridge magnet, stuffed into a junk drawer, or in a garbage bin. But even the seemingly insignificant moments are worth remembering, and having tactile proof of them feels exceedingly rare in our increasingly digital age. That's the allure of the junk journal. It's kind of like a scrapbook, though junk journalers are less concerned with preserving only the prettiest parts of their lives or major milestones. Anything can make it into a junk journal. A receipt from a new coffee shop, a name tag from a networking event, even a sticker from a piece of produce. If those scraps seem insignificant to hold on to, that's part of the point. Junk journaling forces its practitioners to slow down and take stock of the smaller experiences that generate joy of any size. Tatiana Gordon told CNN that junk journaling turns what would otherwise be a small blip in her week into something she won't forget. I've made it a little bit bigger now. That is a permanent spread in my journal, she said. So I thought that was real interesting. So produce stickers?
So it's facts, right? So you have something, again, so many different towers or variations of junk journaling. You have some that a lot of people call trash journals. And what that is truly, I ate this candy bar. It was so delicious, or it was, a candy bar that I picked up at a European market, and I'm going to keep the wrapper and put it in my junk journal. I've seen people make junk journals out of McDonald's containers. So they ate McDonald's for not a whole month straight, but they ate, 3 or 4 times they visited McDonald's, and they made a junk journal out of, the hamburger wrapper and the French fry holder and other things that they've gotten from, so it truly is just, you can use anything and everything that, you feel personally that you're interested in and you want to create with, and somebody else may enjoy if you're looking to sell your junk journals.
That was the question I was just going to ask. Now, if you did that, is it for your own personal usage in a case like that? Okay.
Me personally, that I would think so, right? I would not think of selling, but some people might, right? And some people may buy it if that's what they're interested in. But me personally, I would, if I was making a junk journal out of, all my Roy Rogers wrappers and stuff, I would totally keep it for myself.
I'm thinking about all the food I ate over the years. That would be a big journal, but you know what I remember? The whatchamacallits. I like the whatchamacallit. Like that wrapper would be cool. Like if 1 page of all of my favorite candy bars or something.
There you are.
That would be cool. We got make a little belly band out of the whatchamacallit wrappers.
Exactly. Yeah, good stuff.
We got a budding junk journalist here. So how is it, I guess, what is the history of junk journaling, and how is it different from scrapbooking?
When was it born?
So junk journaling was born in the 70s, I believe. No, I'm lying. Junk journaling was born before the 70s. I think it was originally born in the 50s. And it was truly born by using stuff that was in your home. If you received, which you would have, mail, right? You'd use the mailers that you received mail in. Or if you had a prescription from the doctor, you would use that prescription you literally used things that you were going to toss in the trash. And that's why they called it junk journaling. And it just evolved from there. There are some people that use only printables in their junk journals. Meaning, somebody sells an eBay, or Etsy's very big for printables, where somebody, creates images and then sells the images in a PNG or SVG file. And then you get the file and you print it yourself and then cut it out and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't use that personally. I know a lot of people that don't use it because the printables really, it's like a template for you. Whereas I personally like to just be creative with my own, using the vintage papers and tissue paper from sewing patterns and so on and so forth. But how it's different from scrapbooking is much more laid out and a cleaner look. So you have a page in a scrapbook, you have a template, and you fit your pictures, or you fit your wording over here where you're going to write something about something that you did where, you went to Disneyland and you have an image of, Disney, the Magic Kingdom over here. And then you have a picture of your family, and it's all structured in a format. Where junk journaling, you're all over the place.
John Doe asks, would junk journalists buy a hodgepodge of ephemera and such in a listing? And how would one title the listing?
Ephemera lot.
Ephemera lot.
Yeah, you can, and if it's ephemera that has damaged or something, ephemera bundle, that's a good one too. Yeah. You can say that it's a junk journal ephemera lot or a junk journal ephemera bundle, because then that kind of insinuates that there might be imperfections in, like, for example, if there's 5 postcards and it has a little bit of a crease, right? You're not trying to attract the collector, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right. You're not trying to attract the collector, for sure. Yeah.
or the trade cards that have come out of a scrapbook and they've got the back damage.
Well, I will say that a lot of people don't care about,
versus
right?
the collector
Right.
might care. Yep.
Oh, true. Yes, the collector would definitely probably care.
Whereas you guys are like, well, you're just using the image anyway. So,
yeah. And there's a lot of junk journalers that are collectors as well. I know plenty of them that they love ephemera, and a lot of times they buy because they collect. I personally have tons of French letterheads that I bought from the 1920s that I do not touch them in any way, shape, or form. They do not go into my junk journals. If they do, I make a copy of them because guess what? They're no longer within the copyright infringement regulations and policies. So I'll make a copy of it. But when I sell my journal, I don't say that it has the authentic original, right? I make sure that it's known that it's a copy of the original. So, so that I'm not misleading anyone to think that they're getting the original French letterhead.
Paul, yes, Paul, please do it. Because not only do I want you to do that, I want to see you when you do that. It's going to be very enjoyable.
Now, what are some popular themes that people do? Now, you were saying before the show, Christmas around Christmas time, Halloween's always. But what are some other popular themes? Trains? Like, do people do automobiles? Because I've not had a lot of selling car stuff.
So they don't do specific automobiles. What they would do is they would do like travel. And in the travel one, they would incorporate, trains, automobiles, motorcycles, things to that, airplanes to that, extent. So
like states and countries, like they
country. Yep. State and countries is for sure one that people do themes. Victorian is huge. So anything Victorian is just.
Don't mean to cut you off. How about just something you said? How about maps?
Oh yeah, we use maps. We use maps in the journals. We use maps to make our ephemera. Like if we're making ephemera to put in the journals as well, we use the maps as the background and stuff. So maps are definitely used for sure.
You're gonna want double now when you sell me all your sites.
I just raised my price on everything over here. I'm spending a lot of money I didn't even know of. How about stamps?
Like postage stamps?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's another big one that people love as well. Yep. Postage stamps. People love the colorful ones. We don't care so much about we obviously, a lot of people care about the image as well, but the colors where you can get the purples and the greens and the reds and the oranges and that's awesome.
So I did just I was at an estate sale and I said, how much for all the stamps? And I made them an offer of $50 on all the stamps they had left. When I bring them over to Whatnot in the junk journal, my best bet then would be to go through and put all the red ones together, all the yellow. Okay.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I was saying yes to Flipperoo's comment. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was reading and listening at the same time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I go through with the stamps, should I put all the similar color ones together? Would that be the way to do it? Or do I want a mix of colors?
I'd do both because you're going to have your people that are like your purple lovers and they want all the purples, right? And then you're going to have your people that are going to want a mixture of all of them, right? So I would, if you can, do both.
Oh yeah. No, I bought it out, so I've got lots of them. So
yeah.
How about with books? I know I've seen that people will buy the end papers of the books, the first page of the book that's got the design on it before the book actually starts. And I've sold boards of the books, the book's falling apart. I've taken the board and sold the board of the book before. You mean what am I looking for in those? Just really interesting designs on the end papers, or
designs, colors, like the Reader's Digest are big.
Really?
People buy just the cover of the Reader's Digest. We don't even need the pages on the inside. People just buy the
Reader's Digest today.
I will. Let me see. Hold on. Let me grab one really quick.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
Because I just want to show you that it doesn't have to be like this one right here where you can see there's damage on the corners and stuff. That's okay. We'll put book corners on it. But stuff like this, people love that. And then just, some of them have like marbling on the inside. But they'll just buy just the cover. Some people will sell it and they'll ask, do you want the pages? And the person will be like, I don't want the pages. And so we'll gut it out for them and just send them the cover. And that's all that they're interested in. But other people will use the pages too, because they're great for us to do stuff with in the junk journal as well.
Wow. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm not often speechless, but I'm speechless right now. I'm learning so much today. How about what goes good with the sewing patterns? I know we've talked about those before. I have sold sewing patterns. Now, the reason I stay away from sewing patterns is because, again, I come from the ephemera world where a collector is going to buy it type deal. And I don't know if the pattern's complete or not. If it's sealed, I would buy it all day long because I can sell it as sealed. But I buy a used sewing pattern. It's got stuff inside. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to open the whole thing up and see.
Do you see this whole bag?
Yeah.
This whole bag is just the pouches. I bought this whole bag from someone just because I wanted the pouch, just the cover itself. I just wanted that to be able to make my junk journal. I don't need the pattern on the inside. The pattern on the inside is a bonus, but you sell it and you say unknown, whether it's cut or full pattern, to be used for junk journaling, not for actually sewing a garment.
So that's one of those things. I go to the church sale and they're looking to get rid of stuff to fill a bag for $5, and I fill the bag with all of the leftover things like that, then I would definitely be able to sell those at whatnot. Wow.
Yeah. And the more vintage, obviously, the more vintage the image, the better, right? Early 90s even, I would say, is ideal. Ones that are maybe, look at this one. I'm going to make a Cabbage Patch one. I bought a Cabbage Patch pattern, right? And I'm just going to use it to make a Cabbage Patch junk journal. I found a book at the Goodwill that's Cabbage Patch. I'm going to use the book pages and this pattern as my cover. And I have a nostalgic Cabbage Patch junk journal that I'm sure somebody will be interested in.
So I go to the church sale, and I use church sales as the example because those are always, you go the last day of the church sale, they want that stuff gone. They don't care. What else should I be looking for that I'm not currently? That would be beyond my normal ephemera, because I look for the older ephemera to sell to the collectors. This is what I've always done. Those patterns I would walk by. I would have always walked by them. How about like the magazine, not magazines, but like the how to crochet, do people cut those up? How to macrame, do they cut those up, or are those
the books?
They're like the 12-page booklet type.
Oh, the pamphlet. Yeah. We can use those. I have Work Basket was a vintage one that I use that in my sewing journals all the time. Use pages from Work Basket in my sewing journals. There's so much. I was thinking of something now I lost. Oh, cookbooks, vintage cookbooks. That's another one right there. Well, people will, because they make the cookbook or recipe junk journal is huge. And that is something that people buy to sell or make to sell and make for themselves, because they're passing down generational recipes maybe to their kids, right? So they'll make a junk journal, put the recipes from their great grandmother in that for them. And so, but they'll also sell some, right? So it's cookbooks are also another one that's big.
What about like everybody's mother had, the 3x5 index cards with the recipes on them that were all handwritten, and they've got 500 recipes that are all handwritten in the little thing. You might have had that. My mom had that. Do people buy those?
We love recipe cards, vintage recipe cards, whether they're used or unused. We love recipe cards. Do you remember the old Rolodex cards?
Yeah.
That's a big one too. People love the actual cards from the old Rolodex system, because we use those to make a Rolodex. We decorate them and make a whole Rolodex, card thing for junk journaling itself. So
this is the most action Paul's been ever.
Well, Paul's asking,
expanding.
Where do people buy junk journals? Mostly Etsy. Only 3,600 sold comps for junk journal on eBay.
Yeah, really. Etsy's probably the biggest platform for where people, or personal or individual websites, right? Some people that have gotten big enough, they have their own websites, but
$1,600 for a junk journal on eBay.
There's some that I'm telling you, I'm just like, there better be some gold or something up in those junk journals.
Rare and expensive in there.
Now, I will say a lot of people pay a lot of money for the stuff that they're putting in their journals. I know a lot of people that only use vintage materials in their entire journal, right? It's all vintage papers, everything that's in it, ephemera, everything is vintage. Now, and then they also like pay themselves like $100 an hour or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
For the time it takes, but it's a unique gift. So sometimes it's worth, paying a little more for something that will be one of a kind in probably most cases.
I got one that has to be a no-brainer, which I can do these. I mean, sports cards. There's got to be like old Star Wars cards, the trading cards, right? I mean,
yes. So I would say like Star Wars and things like that. Yes. Sports cards themselves.
Okay, like certain players or teams. No, not really. Okay.
Not really. Right. But the ones that are more tied to movies or something to that. Yes, those can definitely be ones that you can.
Star Wars theme, because I might have to have you request it. I'll just send you a box of Star Wars stuff and see how it comes back. But cards would be cool, but from the 70s, definitely,
I've got so many more questions that we don't want to keep you on forever. We definitely want to have you come back if you're willing to do so.
Like I think part 2.
If you're willing to do that, we would definitely love to have you come back. I think the chat's absolutely loving this. I think we're all learning. I'll save a lot of these questions for later. What is the strangest things that sell? And we always use the story about somebody or other had put on Whatnot and they sold the old used tape. And that still blows my mind that people bought used cellophane tape on there. Well, that blows your mind too, apparently.
Like it was just used tape and somebody bought it?
Basic,
old yellow tape.
Old yellow tape because they wanted to use junk journals so they didn't have to yellow their own tape.
So that's actually genius. That's actually something that we as junk journalers try to make our tape look old. Yeah. So that's definitely something that, like, if you have a page in a book that has old tape residue on it, we'd be probably willing to pay a little more for that than we would for one that has nothing on it, right?
Well, you've given us a lot of great ideas, so I'm going to give you an idea where to find old tape.
Where?
Library sales, because a lot of times the old library book, they'll have taken the library book and they'll stick it inside that plastic cover that they always had in the library that they then taped around. Mm-hmm. And you've got that old tape off of the end. Here's the thing. Collectors don't want the ex-lib. They don't want the old library books. So you go to the library sale, you're buying all the library books and the dealers are all going, that person's buying all the old library books. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, well, you're like, I'm just buying it for the tape.
Yeah. Well, speaking of library, I'll give you one more thing. Yeah. Library pockets and library cards. We love that stuff too.
Wow. Good stuff.
I'm going to ask you one last item because I've got a lot of it in the basement that...
No, dust. Dust is not anything.
You sure?
Yeah, no.
They love
That's a no. No. I'm going to have to agree. That's a no.
No. Comic books. What goes in comic books? What do people want? Okay, that's not something that people buy.
All right, sports cards, the stuff we deal in. No, the sports cards and comics. That's all right.
Yes, sports cards and comics are a little bit, it's again, comic books, if it's the
like a superhero, like I could say, hey, I love Spider-Man.
Or if there's like a Garfield one, I know that back in the day there used to be Garfield comic books, things like that. Yeah, I think those you can definitely get a little bit of interest, but just the normal ones that don't really have much of a theme to it where you can build something out, a whole journal out of, not a lot of interest probably in it, but it's worth trying at least to bring a few on.
How about the old Disney, like the 1970s Disney stuff? Yeah.
Disney always sells though. I mean, in any category that you go to, Disney is always a big hitter in my opinion from what I've seen.
All right, we're going to head. I mean, I've got so many more questions. We're not going to keep you all night because we'd be here.
You're going to get to half these questions.
Yeah, we would be sitting here for. You are a very, very popular guest. Everybody is. This is opening a lot of people's eyes, I think, into this over here.
Reactions are great.
We're going to head over to the rambling story of the week real quick. So, as everybody knows, Heritage messed up my order. and they sent me somebody else's order, which I showed last week. I did a little bit of research. The item that I had won was worth, or I had paid $70 for. The items they sent me were $400. So I sent them an email asking, hey, what am I supposed to do? I was at the estate sale on Thursday. The phone rings at the estate sale. I see Heritage Auctions. And so I answer the phone, and Heritage is like, yeah, this is regarding your order with the comic thing that you bought. I go, did you get my email? What? You messed it up. Did you get my email? Oh, you got the 2 items that we're looking for. I'm like, yeah, I know. So then they're like, okay, you got to send them back to us. We're going to send you a return thing. They have to go out FedEx. I'm like, I don't send things FedEx, but okay. Packed it all up, FedEx, go online, drop it off at Staples. Great. Go to Staples. No, we don't do FedEx. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I have to go back online, finally figure out that Walgreens will do it. So I had to drive to Walgreens and drop it off. And of course, you're walking in here, this big box looking around. What do I do with this? What do I do with this? They have a little section over there. So you just drop it off. So it's on its way back. Eventually, I'll get the item that I was supposed to get that they messed up. But hopefully that makes everybody out there feel better that if a $1 billion company messes up orders, not that you want to mess up orders, but a $1 billion company can't get it right. So
it happens at all levels.
If it happens to you once in a while, it's that's just the way that it is. Why don't you plug a few things over? You got your channel, you've got your website. Plug away.
Yeah, so obviously I'm on Whatnot. I do try to have a show once a week. Sometimes I just do a craft and chat. So if you're in the mood just to come on over, I do have my bin full. So it's not a complete waste of my time because I'm going to craft anyway. So I just go live and have conversations with people. YouTube, I post 1 video a week where I either show something that I've made that's up for grabs if anyone's interested in it, or I show the process that I follow because I don't try to hide anything. Everybody can do this. And if you're interested in learning how to make your own junk journal, Mr. Magazine, just watch one of my videos. And yeah, and then my website, Penscreations. Yeah, you don't have. I'm not saying you don't have talent. You don't have to have talent though. It's all about what makes you happy. For sure. But I do appreciate you guys letting me jump on and be engaged from everybody. Hopefully I didn't disappoint. So
we definitely, I only got through about half the items I was going to ask you about. Why don't we real quick, right out the door, you were telling me a story beforehand about an item that I bought that I thought was absolutely wonderful. What it was is it was from a book that was falling apart. Absolutely beautiful, 1885 chromolithograph. It was split in half, unfortunately. Beautiful eagle on it. It was very, very patriotic. I put that up. I thought that was going to go through the roof. I even said, I thought this was going to go well. Not one person bid on it. What did I get wrong in that, PSEN?
There's a niche, right? And patriotic is not necessarily the biggest niche in junk journaling. And that's the biggest part of what it was, to be honest with you. As I mentioned to you, as soon as I saw you put it on there and then you made the comment and I was like, yeah, no, it's not going to sell. And it wasn't just, it's just because that's what I've seen, right. Time and time again. It's not that not all patriotic doesn't sell. It's just, it's definitely not a big hitter in the junk journaling community.
So if you were walking by it, would you say it or think like, that's junk, or would you word it differently? Because like your junk is good junk, and that's not. So is it true junk, bad junk?
No, I found actual junk.
Real junk. But like, there's got to be a different term because her junk is good stuff.
Yeah, not usable junk at the time.
It's actually called paperboy junk. That's actually what they call it in the community. It's amazing. I've never seen anything
like this. You got a lot of not usable stuff in it.
Leave it to me to buy the only junk that nobody wants.
You did great with your other junk, though, right? So it was just that one piece that just.
All right, I have one last. I know you've got to go, but
no, fine.
Game pieces.
Oh, I would think Scrabble. Yeah.
We make charms. The little Monopoly. I have a whole bag right here somewhere. Not only the game pieces, guys.
Yeah, no, people love the Scrabble letters. We sold.
This is from a 1950s Monopoly game. I'm making and using it for Ephemera in my junk journals. It's all the pieces of the book of the game that I picked up. people and the game pieces, yeah, we poke little holes in them and add them as little dangles and charms to our junk journals as well. So yeah, it's definitely an interest for sure.
All right.
One more question.
No, it's about the Monopoly stuff there.
Yes.
If I were to sell those, how would I sell them? A group of 10 pieces of money and 2 cards or something like that? And for I do everything at $3 start. The reason I'm asking is because you go to a sale and they've got a broken up Monopoly game. It's probably not even complete, they tell you. $1, you want it?
Oh, you can get 10 times that easily.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Not only that, but this is one that I haven't even dug into yet. So it's a Washington D.C.'s edition one that I picked up that I think it's from the 80s. Anyways, I'm gonna make a cover using the box.
Oh wow!
As well for a journal. So yeah, it just endless possibilities. And yeah, for as far as the game pieces and stuff, put them into little bundles, little lots, a little bit of variation of each color. Just think of it as colors, right? You're putting, you know, green and yellow and orange and pink, and then a few little of the cards that, you know, from the spaces, and sell it as a little bundle.
All right, I got one last one. And if I don't say it, I have a bad memory and I'm going to forget this. But obviously there must be all different shapes and sizes of the journals then, because that's a larger Monopoly game. So you're not going to have it in a little small book like that other one you showed me was you know, average size. Okay.
Yeah, you can do all different sizes. People have done very large sized ones where they do full pages. So an 8x11 is one side of the page. So it's in reality you have 2 8x11 sheets of paper, or 8.5x11 sheets of paper.
You can do longer. Yeah, very cool. All right.
Then you can use the magazines that are older, the larger magazines that are older. You can use that instead of like we do now. Yeah. Yep.
Is there a category for junk journaling on Whatnot? Because I listed in the Ephemera and somebody's like, oh, he lists everything in Ephemera. And I guess other people list it in some crafting area or something. Is there a right or a wrong category?
There's not a right or wrong category. No, it's wherever you feel more comfortable putting your items in. Again, junk journalers look all around. Right. Okay. We look in Ephemera and we look in other crafting supplies as well, which is primarily where most of the people kind of sit that are junk journal resellers, right? Or supply resellers for junk journaling. They kind of sit in the other craft supplies, but there's plenty that are in the Ephemera as well.
Okay. eBay does have a category though, I think, because Paul was looking up something, or did he just do a search?
He did a search on junk journal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. eBay does.
Cool.
Very good. All right, we have to pull the plug on this because otherwise you'll be sitting here till tomorrow morning. And
I don't want to go home, honestly.
It's a very, very good show. Do hit the like button. Do check the guest out. I do have a link down below for her channel as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. We will be over there at some point as well, and we are going to have her definitely on for a part 2. This is one of our best shows we've ever done, no doubt at all. I definitely do thank you. Do hit the like button, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.